Hey residents of Meepletown, today we are in the dystopian universe created by Pierce Brown in Red Rising. We're going to take on the role of a house trying to gain the most power, the most influence, and ultimately have the most points at the end of the game. Let's get to the table and check out Red Rising. All right, here is the setup for Red Rising, and before we get started, we just want to encourage you to like this video if you like the video, subscribe if you like the channel, and also we have a Patreon now, so if you'd like to donate, we'll have a link in that listed below in the description.
Patreon.com/Meepletown.
Yeah, so we'll have a link in there. If you like our content and you want to support us, that is a great way to do that.
Do you know why I was moving the box up? Because the red was rising, like the glorious sunrise, and it was just coming up over your shoulder.
Can we start?
Yes.
Start the game? Mm-hmm. All right. Red Rising is a game where you're trying to get points. That's it. And how you're going to do that is the cards that you're going to have, and I'll go ahead and pull them up here. The cards that we're going to be playing have an ability on here. So this is the ability when you play the card into one of these locations, you'll do that action if you want to, or if you have to. And then when you do that, you're going to draw a card from another one of these decks. And when you do that, you're going to gain the bonus from that. And we're going to get points from the scores, the base scores from the card, which is in the top left corner. And then they'll have another way of getting points in the very bottom of the card. Mm-hmm. You also get points from moving up on the fleet track. You get 3 points from these different helium tokens that you have. You get 10 points if you have a sovereign token at the end of the game. And then your points if you have the most, well, if you have any influence in here, you're going to get points as well. We'll describe that at the end. Now, we're not going to do a full playthrough of this, mainly because you're not going to be able to see our cards, and I can't really think of a great way to do a full playthrough where you're really going to benefit that.
And all that kind of stuff.
So we'll show you how it plays.
We could make it work.
Yeah.
But we don't want to.
We don't want to. We're just going to do
that?
Part of the gameplay, then we're going to do our review at the end. So we randomly pick who's going to go first, and that was going to be me. We didn't.
Dude, I almost blew my cards over with my laugh. Did you see that?
I did not. We did not randomly pick who's going to go first, but I'm just going to say I'm going to go first. All right. I'm going to play. So we take this moon token. I'm going to play the Pax onto the Luna location, and this says if deployed on Luna, advance once on the fleet track, and so that's what I'll do. I'll do that action. And I will move my purple up 1, and then I'm going to draw. Let's see. I'm going to draw from another location, and I'm not sure what I want to get. I didn't look at these other cards to see what was really going to benefit me.
And as Dean's doing that, I'll mention that we both have these like factions that are going to give us abilities, and the ones that we have, which a lot of them have, when you gain the sovereign token, you get to do it. So don't forget to do your ability. Oh, you didn't gain it. My bad.
Yeah. So I'm going to take since I'm already moving up on the fleet track, I'm going to move.
Dang it!
I'm going to take the magistrate, which allows me to.
That's what Daddy wanted.
Move up again. Ugh.
That's what I wanted.
Did you say what my ability was? Did you say?
I just mentioned it, but his is when he gains a sovereign token, which you'll probably do next round. Then he's going to roll a die.
Yep.
And do a little go into Vegas. Mine is I get to move up the fleet track whenever I gain the sovereign token. So
I've already moved up the fleet track twice.
I know. That's really good. It really is.
It really is for your first turn. That's pretty
That's
impressive.
really big, and that really makes me not want to play one of the cards that I have in my hand now, for sure. So I think I am just going to, let's see, make sure. Not bad.
So while John's looking at this, the interesting part of the cards is you want to be able to use the abilities, but also you might not want to get rid of it, even though the ability is really good. You might not want to because of
I'm going to pick it up
points
right
that you're
now.
going to get. Yeah.
So I'm going to play this on Jupiter. It just says gain the helium. So I gain the helium, then I will pick up the Pax because I want that. And when I do that, I gain the sovereign token. Did you even take this? You didn't even.
I didn't gain it.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
That's right. My bad.
And,
Dude, what am I thinking? So I gain the sovereign token, which then lets me go up on the fleet track. So I gained a helium and moved up on there. Not bad.
All right. I think what I'm going to do is play the stockbroker. When I play the stockbroker, this says you may lose one Oh, no. Never mind. I just realized I don't have any influence in there. So, oh, goodness. Okay, I'll do this. So I'm going to play this card that says I can banish the top non-gold card from any other location. If it's not gray or obsidian, I'm going to gain a helium. So I'm going to place this right here in the Institute, I believe. And then I will banish, which means I'm just going to take this and get rid of it over here. Now, even when you banish, let me put this here. We'll put the banish cards here. Even when you banish, they'll stay here. There's a chance that you might be able to get that later on in the game. There's chances that you might get points based on what's in the banish deck. There's lots of things that could happen there. Then I'm going to take Darrow, and I'm going to take the Sovereign Token. And when I take the Sovereign Token, that allows me to roll this. That's, again, my special ability. And, ooh, I don't like that. Don't like that at all. That's not going to help me.
I do.
So this means I'm going to banish a card from a location, and that's it. I much rather would have been able to move up on the Institute or the Fleet Track, but, can't win them all, right?
Can't. All right, so I'm going to play the card that Dean played earlier. If deployed on Luna, advance on the Fleet Track. So I will deploy that on Luna. I will advance on the Fleet Track. And then I will... Let me look at this again. So if deployed on the Institute, reveal the top 2 cards of the deck in any order and play them. Not bad, not bad.
Oh, I didn't gain my helium whenever I played this card, by the way. Did I?
Okay.
No, I did not.
Oh, and I also... Oh, never mind. My bad. No, I didn't do that.
No,
okay.
Put this over here. Here.
I think I'm just going to take this one back. All right.
Ooh, didn't like that. I really wanted to be able to get that.
I thought you might, so I thought, might as well play it twice for you. You can play it once. How about that? I don't know.
All right, I'm going to play the Seer. The Seer says if you have the Sovereign Token, reveal the top card of the deck in place, not deploy it on another location. So the reason why I'm going to do that is because I would like to be able to... now, where am I going to put this? I'm not sure.
Is that person making mean steak? Because they are a good seer? Seer? Steak.
You get no laughs for that. I'm going to take this now. I can not deploy this, but I'm going to place it on another location, but I could potentially pick this up if I really like it. You may gain a gray from this location. If you do, end your turn. I don't really care about that much. So I'm going to put this... where am I going to put this? Ooh, goodness gracious.
Interesting
I think I'm going to place
huh?
it here on the Institute. And then I think what I'm going to do...
This is wildly different than our last
really
game.
Want
we
this that much.
Battling the Institute the whole game, huh?
That's right. Now this one, I'm probably going to take the Luna token a lot. Which, again, I already have the Sovereign token, which is what you gain from Luna. But I still get to roll the die, even though I already have it. Oh, the other thing I was going to do is move up on the Fleet Track, and that helped me there anyway. So that is my turn.
Okay, so I am going to, what does that say? Move the top card of another location to the top of a different location. Gain the original location's bonus for that card. Interesting. So that'll basically let me get 2 bonuses back to back. I like that. I also like getting the Sovereign token. So I think... Oh, man, I don't like the... It's funny, like, I like the moving up the tracks and stuff I've got going on, but I don't like the combos that I have here for in-game scoring at all at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens, you know it?
Yeah, this is a little... it's a little tricky. This game can be tricky.
It definitely can be. I think I'm going to play this over here. Nope. Here. And then I'm going to take this to gain that Sovereign token back. Give me that now.
Ooh, that's not...
And I gain the helium for that card. Sorry.
All right.
Look at that.
Man,
it's going to be harder to get the old Sovereign token back now.
I don't know. The card that I was going to play benefits me if I have the Sovereign token. Now, this is a tricky one. Yeah, this is really tricky. I think I'm going to play this one again. This is the packs. I'm going to play this on Luna again. I've deployed on Luna Advance 1 on the Fleet Track, which is helpful for me. And then I'm going to draw from Mars. And again, drawing from Mars is going to give you helium. So I now have 2 helium.
Okay, I'm going to play this.
Nobody's done anything in the Institute, which is
I'm about
crazy.
to.
Oh, okay.
Move the top card of another location to the top card of a different location, and then gain the original location bonus for that card. So I'm now going to move this to here, which will gain the original location's bonus. So I will place into the Institute. And then, I think I'm going to take this card again.
Okay.
Cardigan.
All right. And did you gain the bonus for that?
Oh, sorry, I did not. So I get the Sovereign token, but even if I already have it, I get the bonus, which is to go up. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, this is a little tricky. I don't really want to play any of these, to be honest with you. Part of me just wants to get a card out there that I don't necessarily need. Let me explain to one thing.
You want to do one more round?
Yeah, so the game ends, the way the game ends is when you have 7 influence in the Institute, when one player, so if any of these three conditions are met between the two of us, so 7 in the Institute, 7 on the fleet track, or 7 helium, and 7 helium, then the game ends. If John or I have 2 of those 3, then that will also trigger the end of the game, which right now we're actually probably closest on fleet track than anything else.
We're probably 30% of the game done.
Yeah.
Like that. So after this turn, we'll just end it. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I will, I didn't look at what those are. You may gain a gray from this location if deployed to the Institute. I think what I'll do is, I'm just going to play this here. Gain 1 helium for each red at this location, which there's not any. But mostly I did that because I wanted to put more cards out into the onto the Luna space. And then I think what I'll do is I'm going to, I could draw from the Institute, which will let me put that out there, but I'll pass just to show you how that would work, since this is going to be the last round that we do.
Okay.
Actually, that doesn't make sense for me to do that. What is this? I don't know how many points I'm getting on these. Not that we're going to finish the game anyway, but at least I can give you an idea of...
We can show them how it scores and see where we're at that point. At this point.
Actually, I need this one. So okay. I will do that. I'm going to put an influence out in the Institute, and that will be my turn.
All right, I'm going to... Oh, wait, you just opened another one.
Yep. We didn't mention this either, but this is the Red Rising Collector's Edition. So you're going to see, we've got these metal cubes, these, the metal fleet trackers. You've got the gold foil on these cards. I'm really not sure exactly what the difference is in between all of these, but the Collector's Edition is pretty nice. When we get to the art and components, we'll talk more about that.
This is tough because this card is going to let me gain a gold or orange from this location. It will end my turn, though, so I won't get the bonus. And it's just interesting that steal 1 card from an opponent, they choose the card. Wow. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you play that, and I'm just going to take it just for this reason. The problem is, and positive, I guess, in this game could be, when you play it, then you give the opponents a chance to just pick it right back up, and now they can do it. So if it's like, if I punch Dean in the face, he can just punch me right back.
Yep.
And so do I want to punch him in the face? And then, yeah.
Not literally.
No, I don't know. Actually, I probably wouldn't have taken that card. You know what? I wouldn't have. It doesn't matter because we're not going to finish it.
This is actually the last turn anyway.
But I would do that. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so that's it. Let's go ahead and show how scoring would work.
Okay.
What we would do is we would score. Let's go ahead and let's get this little notebook out. So first, you're going to have, let me put this over here. You're going to have...
you can see how messy I was on
this right here that's going to show you that if you have this like in-game condition of things that happens, which John does, that thing triggers right now. So what does yours say?
It says you may treat this card as having the same name as any specific character.
Okay.
So that could have been big. Based on this, I was able to get one of these already, but if I didn't, it could have worked as that. Anyways. Then we do the cards and abilities, right?
That's right. And we're not going to write in here because I'm not going to waste space if we play a full game.
So this says I get 10 points and then 15 which I would have easily been at least 6 to 8 by the end of the game. So that would have been worth 25 points. If I could have gotten up, which I would have hoped to do, 9 to 10, which it was working well with Jupiter, then I would get 30 more points, and this would be worth a big old fat 40, which would have been nice.
That's a lot.
And I'll just say this one as well that says if it has Virga, which I did, then it's worth 15 additional points. So as long as I didn't get rid of this card, I would have gotten a total of 35 points for that.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So I'll show this one. Deanna is in the red, and she gets a base of 9 points, and then at the end of the game, she's going to get 26 if she's with another red, which she is with Darrow. So that would have been really nice. I wanted to show, since we're not showing all of these, this one's worth 10. You're going to get 5 points if you have at least 5 points for each helium that you have. And so that was, I've had this card in here and I was thinking, I probably do want to build up on helium quite a bit to be able to get a lot of points.
Because helium is also worth 3 points. So this card makes your helium worth 8 points apiece.
Yeah. The other thing, and I'm not going to show all these, but some of these you can see how they go together. So this one is a base value of 20, and then if you have at least 3 helium, then 3 influence on the 3 influence on the institute. Yep. And at least level 3 in the fleet track, then you're going to get an additional 15 points. And so I would have, again, I don't have that in any of them except the fleet track, but you would build towards that and keep those cards in your hand. I also have another one that gives me 15 points if I have the least amount on the influence track, so I kind of have an idea of if I keep this in my hand, then I need to make sure I'm not gaining too much. But let's go ahead and show how these score so that you can see why that would be important. So with the fleet track, you're just going to get the points wherever you are right here. Helium, again, you're just going to get 3 points for the helium that you have. The Institute works quite a bit different, though. And in a 2-player game, you start off with 3 in a neutral color, just so you don't steal those extra points. But basically, it's going to work. If you have the most, you're going to get 4 points for each influence that you have in the Institute. If you have the second most, then you're going to get 2 points. And then if you're third place, then you're going to get 1 point per those. And I think that's a really interesting way of scoring things. And then
you lose 10 points for every card that you have over 7. Mm-hmm. But most of them score you at least 10 points.
That's right. So having more than 7, or some like Darrow, if you have 7 cards or more, you're going to get 30 points. So, I would have wanted to gain more cards. And you notice that we're playing a card and gaining a card. So throughout the game, mostly you're just going to have 5, but there are cards that will allow you to get more cards than just those 5.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so that's how you would do the scoring. And then the winner would do a victory dance.
Would probably be you. I have never won this game.
Might be the case.
I've played it several times.
Yeah, you might be right.
Many times.
You might be right. In that last game, what did we get on that last game? It was showing.
That was my wife and I.
Oh, that was you. Okay. All right, let's talk about the art and components, and just again keep in mind that this is the collector's edition, so some of these things are going to be potentially a better quality, but not necessarily, as we'll talk about in just a minute. So again, in this game, you got these metal cubes, the metal fleet markers. Those are all really nice. The card stock is really nice.
Hold up a second. You're going to wait and talk about that. You said that the metal cubes are all really nice.
Yeah, the feel of them is really nice.
You didn't say the feel. You said the metal cubes.
I said we'll get to it in just a minute, John.
Okay.
Gosh.
Okay. Say it.
I'm just kidding. But whenever John starts talking, I'll go over and get those because I think I left them over there, the other color. But I think all of this it's really well produced. Even down to
the cards are nice.
To having these stands that hold the cards. I think you had a little negative about this.
The stands are cool. They just, if you get more than 6 cards, you kind of got to start squishing them together to make them fit. But you're not going to have that a whole lot. So it's just a little. Oh, just kick the table. How about that?
That's right.
But what I was going to mention about these things, everyone has mentioned this, so I don't want to beat a dead horse if you've watched any other reviews. But if you haven't, I want to make this mention that these cubes are very similar. And that's not just those colors. There's another color that's a reddish color that looks really similar to this. It's not good. If you have a hard time, if it's difficult,
the pink and the purple I don't think are as similar as what those are. They are fairly similar.
Oh, they're similar.
But I think you can tell the difference. And now having those on there right next to each other, you can tell the difference. But if you have it over here by itself, if it's here by itself, and you might not know exactly.
Tell me that's not
what that is.
Just about as bad.
Yeah.
You said it was fine.
Right next to each other, they're not as bad. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you're only using those
That's
cubes.
hard with the lighting for me tell a huge difference there.
You're only using those cubes in the Institute, and so it's not that difficult to know who you are in that. So it's not really, overall, it's not that big of a deal.
You can just put them side to side.
Right.
On the fleet track, though, I mean, if you ended up with both of the goldish colors, you might have to, I guess you could just put one player in front, one in back, and recognize that that's the thing. But
yeah.
They have a nice feel to them, but that's, that was disappointing to see that they are very similar on a lot of those colors.
Yeah, now if it was like a area control game in the sense of like putting those out on the map, that would be a much bigger deal. Overall, I mean, it stinks that they are so similar, but it's not as big of a deal as it could be in other games. But the rest of it,
the rest of it's good. Like this linen finish, these cards are super nice.
I like the illustrations on the card. I think they're well done.
These are all good. These are hefty these are deluxe, but also in the deluxe version, you have this crazy looking, amazing little gold foil action. Hopefully, you can see that like decently well on the. Like that looks beautiful.
I love that. I think it's really cool.
So that's super nice.
Yeah.
But is the game any fun?
You want to start us off then?
Okay.
You start the song, you got to finish it.
Sure. So I was really excited about this game, mostly because my wife has read all the books, and I was like, "Hey, babe, do you know that Stegmaier's coming out with a Red Rising game?" She's like, "No way," because she generally likes Jamie's games and Red Rising. She was really excited, so I was really excited for her. Plus, Dean talked to me about Fantasy Realms, which I may talk about, and said it's a similar game to that.
Yeah.
And I understood the way that the game kind of played there. So I was pretty intrigued by this game. And I will say that I was a little disappointed, actually, in this. Now, I think that I have maybe a minority opinion on this. I've heard a lot of really positive reviews about this game, and I like the game. So let me say some positives first. I do like the way that you have the decisions that you're making when you're picking up the card to either go up the fleet track or the Institute. Some of that's cool. However, I do find myself generally gravitating towards one or two of those in a game, maybe three. Not that I can't use it. So in a positive, it's kind of fun to go up the tracks and to try to win this Institute. Like that's one of my more favorite, probably, to try to have the most there. But again, negatively, I feel like when I've played, I've kind of been locked into a couple of them that I'm really focusing on heavily, maybe a third one. If I've got the Sovereign token, I can gain bonuses for that, but maybe I don't really care to take that up right now because I already have it. So now I'm focused on, I really want to shoot up this track, so I keep going to Jupiter a lot. So while there's fun going up the tracks and stuff, I feel like those decisions are not as exciting as I was hoped they would be. You disagree with that, probably?
I like that. I like that gameplay. So, you mentioned Fantasy Realms. I've played Fantasy Realms earlier this year.
I'm going to talk about a positive. I ended up making it a negative.
Yeah, no. This
not
is
bad.
Yeah, no.
But I like going up the tracks and stuff. I think that's cool.
Yeah. It has that similar feel to Fantasy Realms, a game that I liked. Played it a couple months ago and liked it quite a bit. Thought it was a lot of fun. And so when this was coming out, I thought, okay, if it's going to play similarly to that, I think I would really like it. And it does, but it adds some extra twist to that. I like the fact that you have to make those grueling decisions between the cards that you play versus the ones that you keep. And the fact that if I play this, I might not ever see this card again. It could be that John sneaks it up and he takes it and he keeps it for the points that he needs, or that he might think that I want it based on the other cards that I took, and he might banish it, hoping that I can't get it from there.
Yeah.
I think those are really grueling decisions, much more than Fantasy Realms, whereas Fantasy Realms just focuses on this bottom part of gaining the cards,
sure,
gaining the points from the cards, and then your base points or whatever. It basically, this game adds this gaining this and then gaining those bonuses from that. Now,
and that I'll say this, that's my favorite part of the game. For example, if you watch the gameplay, we kept passing this back and forth because we were going up on the fleet track, which is sweet.
Yeah.
I was done ever playing this game because I have Virga, and I actually played it kind of risky because I already had Virga, and I was like, oh, if I play this, it'll help me go up the fleet track, which I need to make Virga worth more points. I got to go with the fleet track.
Yeah.
But then if Dean decides he's going to keep this card, then I'm hosed. And I really need that card. So
because I actually did, it's also so if it's with Darrow, and I had Darrow, and so
did you think about?
Because I discarded it, and I was like, I'm discarding this in the hopes that I'll be able to gain it back to get this.
And I wouldn't have given it back to you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite part about the game is those decisions. I know that happened. I think in the first game Dean and I played, I had done that because I had a really good action. And then he kept, or it was my wife or someone, kept the card the entire game. I played it once, it was gone, I never got it back. And I was sad. I was like, darn it, I guess I shouldn't have done that. And that's really fun in the game.
Yeah. Now, I've not read the whole series, but when I found out this game was coming out, I read the first book, and I really I enjoyed the first book. I thought it was really good. The thing about this game is, theme is important to me. I want to be able to feel like I'm maybe doing the things, and it feels like that. The idea is there because, like in the first book, again, I can only speak to that, but in the first book, you have these houses that draft these players to be on their team to have this big battle. Okay, I don't think that's spoiling too much. So that is the theme of this game. We each are one of these houses. I am Minerva, and I am going to draft my team of 5 to however many people that I'm going to have to try to gain the most points. So I guess in that sense it is thematic, but it doesn't really feel that way, right? You're just gaining points from the cards, which is fine.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if and the cards can be thematic. Like, if one character is with a specific character that in the book that they hated, then you're going to lose points for that in this game. So in that sense it is thematic, but it doesn't really like feel that you're doing any of that except just gaining points, really.
Sure. Yeah.
And so
I haven't read the book, so I can't comment on it.
Well, and I was going to say, and that can be a plus because you don't feel like, oh, do I need to understand the books to play the game or to really like get it?
Yeah.
No, you don't at all.
And I'm glad. I mean, in one sense, I'm glad I didn't read the books because I can kind of be that perspective. If you're out there going, hey, I like Stonemaier games, I like Jamie, I've never read the books, maybe I don't really want to, am I still interested in the game? I don't think not playing, for me, theme is not as important, but I don't think not reading the books, I think it would enhance the gameplay for sure and make it a little more exciting. But I'll come from the perspective of my wife, who actually had more fun like looking at the cards and reading them than she did actually playing the game. She was super excited about this game, and she wasn't a big fan of it. Of the game. Yeah. She wasn't a huge fan of the game because she felt like, and again, I agree and disagree with her statements, but I will say her a couple of things. She didn't like how in a 2-player game, it's very possible that not a lot of cards come out. Depending on what cards come out originally, it's possible that you're not. Now, you can on your turn, Dean and I did not mention this, you can on your turn, instead of picking up from one of these 4 places, blind draw. If you blind draw, then you roll that die that Dean had. Mm-hmm. But that's a total crapshoot. I mean, honestly, like it's like, all right, I got something good or I didn't get something good. Hopefully you can, the positively is you have 2 things that you're going for. So hopefully one of them will work for you when you draw it. But then again, you're just kind of rolling this die and you get, maybe you don't care about helium, but you get helium. At least you get 3 points. It's not like you don't get anything, but maybe you don't want to banish a card like Dean, rolled and didn't have that. So that was kind of her frustration with it. The positive side to that is in a 2-player game, you're not going to play maybe through 25% of this deck, which means every game is going to be wildly different.
Yeah, and it means
so that's a positive side.
You have to deal with the cards that you have. It's that hand management of, okay, what's the best possible thing that I can do with the cards that are in my hand? Sometimes you're going to get a lot of points from the actions, and I think in some ways I can get why that would be more of a draw for people playing Red Rising than Fantasy Realms. Because again, Fantasy Realms is just, I'm going to get the points from this card based on what's out there. Whereas Red Rising, you can get points from a lot of other places. Yeah. Overall, I think I kind of prefer Fantasy Realms to Red Rising because of the simplicity, but I get that it allows you to get points in other ways, which opens up the game a little bit more.
And I think, I haven't played, I've only played this at 2. I played it plenty of times at 2 players. I think I would prefer it at higher player count so that I could be able to get through this deck a little bit more. Now that depends on your play style. Some of the play style reminded me of Raise Arcana, which I really like that game because of the tightness of the cards. But there are cards that allow you to maybe, like, you play this card, you draw 2 cards. So depending on what comes out, maybe you do end up with a lot of cards in even a 2-player game. But maybe those aren't showing up, and so you're not being able to get through the deck, as fast as you want to. And so I think for her, she just had that frustration of didn't play the game. She doesn't like games where you are trying to make something work. She likes to score a ton of points. She likes a point salad game. She wants to score a whole ton of points. And then whenever you're trying to make things work and it's like, oh, it's very difficult, she doesn't love that. Yeah. I generally like that. Yeah. So if you like that challenge of, man, I don't love what I have, I don't love what's here, but how can I best make it work? You might really like this, especially at a lower player count.
Yeah. So are you ready to get under our final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
So for me, I do like this game. I think this one is a lot of fun. I really enjoy the puzzly nature. Again, going back to Fantasy Realms, I think I prefer Fantasy Realms for that simplicity of it. It just really boils down like that one aspect of this game. That came out first, so I guess this is more influenced than that was. But it really just boils down that one piece of it. But the thing that I like better in Red Rising is the fact that you can get more points in other ways, and you're not so pigeonholed on, or you're not so at the mercy of the luck of the cards that come out on the table or the ones that you're drawing from the pile.
Other ways.
That's right, because you can get a lot of your points, right? If you can get all 10 of your influence here, you're going to get 40 points from that. Now, you can get 40 points from one card, and so I think you're going to have to get points from your cards, no doubt. However, these are just good ways to get points. Again, I've had a game where I've gotten, I don't know, maybe like 9, 10 of these heliums, and that's going to give you 30 points, 30 points or whatever, depending on how many you get. And you can get more than that for sure. So you can get a lot of points from those areas, but you can't neglect the cards. And I
did that in one game.
Yeah.
I really focused. I was playing my wife on the Institute. I got every single cube out. 40 points, and I had a couple cards that helped me with it, but I ended up losing that game because a lot of the other cards weren't. I was playing a lot to play in the Institute, and so I didn't score as many points on some of the other ones, and she beat me.
Yeah. One thing I didn't mention, sorry, this goes back to the art and components, but the other thing I like about the cards is that those banners on the side show you how they, like what other colors they interact with. So you can, you might think you're going to have a lot of AP, and you will. There's going to be some AP in this game for sure. But this helps with that because you can easily look at it and say, okay, does that interact with it in a positive way? Good. Then I might want to take that because I have those type of cards in my hand. It helps move the game along a little quicker. But anyway, I like the game. I think it's fun. Did it meet the expectations that I had for it? Probably not. I think I had higher expectations because I really like Fantasy Realms. I like the theme of this, and I like the fact that it added extra things. But I'm still at a 7.5, which is a game that I still really enjoy the game. Yeah. I think it's a lot of fun. But I think in my mind I thought, oh, this could really, really get ramped up. But the thing that really drops it for me more than anything is that AP and how it can drag sometimes whenever you're feeling like I need to read what's on the cards, and then like of everything, and you see everything that's out there, you need to know everything that's in your hand.
And there's also the strong possibility that you could play a card that allows you to look, and then you got to pick up all these cards here.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of looking back and you're reading through, or you're thinking about taking this card and going, if I took out this card, then I could go over here, and then I'm going to look through all these and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes these can be pretty long lines.
Yeah.
And I get that. Like it can be, yeah.
And the thing is, overall, it's a fairly quick game.
Sure.
And again, we haven't been able to play large groups yet, and so we're playing this at 2. I've played this solo several times. It's a fairly quicker game at this count. I think I would like it better at a higher player count, but the AP drops it just a little bit for me. So 7.5, I still really enjoy the game. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, okay, so I kind of spilled the beans a little bit earlier as I talked about in the beginning of my gameplay. Had really high expectations for this game. I think it's a well-designed game.
Yeah.
I really do. And I've really struggled. It's been one of the games that I keep saying I'm supposed to like this. Like it brings me feelings of terraforming Mars in the sense of you have this deck of cards and you're trying to make your cards work together, which I'm a pretty big fan of that game. But I don't necessarily know exactly what it is that it's just okay. I think it has to do with, in a 2-player game, maybe not getting maybe as many cards as I would like to have come out. Sometimes it seems like the cards are coming out and it just goes great with what your ability is. And sometimes, your ability is giving you helium and there's nothing that's really scoring you points with helium. So it's like, that's kind of frustrating. And then again, I think maybe also kind of goes back to I end up focusing on 1 or 2, maybe 3 areas here, so I keep going back to that. But then you do possibly have the pool of, I don't really want to go to the Institute, but I love that card, so I want to get that card into my hand. And then another positive thing is the game does really kind of takes as you're playing the game, you really, towards the end, have to be focusing on these cards a lot. So there's a little shift that kind of takes place over the game, which I generally like that, and I like that. So there's some good things about it. But overall, for whatever reason, I felt like this was a fine game. It didn't blow my mind. A lot of really good reviews. So again, I'm going to say that I might be in the minority here. I really might be. But I just don't get the hype. I just don't, for me personally, that's just me personally.
Nothing
it's fine. It's a 6 out of 10. It's cool. It's a fine game. I wonder to myself if people kind of have like the Red Rising color glasses on potentially. Like maybe not. Like if you really love if you really love the books, maybe you're gonna like the gameplay because of that. I don't mean to say like if you never played Red Rising, you might love this game. I'm just saying, does that help? Is it kind of influencing the scores up a little bit for some folks? Maybe not.
And me, honestly, it might have even hurt it a little bit more than anything. Not my score, I don't think, but it doesn't really feel like you're doing any of that. Even though I understand the theme that they were going for, but it's not like I'm playing Zombicide and going around and killing zombies or something. You know, you're not doing that in this game.
And I want to reiterate, I think it's a well-designed game. Like you know what I mean? So I think there'll be tons of people that really love it. I prefer Fantasy Realms just because I can get it faster to the table. Boom, I'm done with it. And yeah, but I'm not in love with Fantasy Realms either. Yeah, so
and when I say I prefer Fantasy Realms, I'm probably about the same score. I like it slightly better for the simplicity. Kind of like a King Domino versus Queen Domino for me. I prefer King Domino. So,
yep.
Anyway, that is it for us. I'm going to give it a 7.5. John gave it a 6. Tell people how they can get in touch with us.
All right, if you're enjoying our channel, we would love for you to subscribe to it. As Dean mentioned earlier, you can support us at patreon.com/MeepleTown. You can go to Meepletown Games on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to Meepletown. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Meepletown Games, and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild number 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.